give me the countdown whenever.
No, I hit the button, so you can start whenever.
All
It's
right.
a big grid with a ton of back and forth, so it makes sense.
So we have Len leaving I think he had been at you guys had been at the bear house, right?
Mhm.
In the upstairs area, leaving uh the warm embrace of Rosa. Um, as
Warm but
he's
teary.
yeah, as he's going to seek to contact Matushka. Um, what exactly is he doing to try to contact Matushka?
He is going to go back to his place. He is going to turn into his owl form, hop up on the back of a chair, and he is going to sleep as an animal.
Okay. Um, with the knowledge that if it passes dawn when he's in his owl form, he could potentially be stuck there.
Yeah, yeah. This is very important. Things are coming to a head in a pretty terrible way.
Um, yeah, and being an owl does make it easier to just simply doze during the day. But I do want a resolve roll for the just to kind of establish the end of the evening, and him waking up in time.
Uh, Anything else I can put into that? Keen senses, anything like that?
I
Or
will let you use your mastery level of your
Pyrium?
Imperium. Yep.
Pyrium, yep. All right, so 6, keep 4.
I'm sitting here like I know I'm missing a tab, and then it's like, oh, it's roll 20.
27.
Okay. We will see how that works at the end of the night. Um, and now what I would like is secondarily a roll of just your Imperium raw, like the mastery level, um, with nothing else added to it.
Well, this is going to be something. Good old 2, keep 2. 8.
Okay. Um, the there's always a prospect of like when I imagine that your character has fallen asleep while wearing an animal form before.
Yes.
And there's a degree to which you are often when sleeping in your animal form, you are often visiting them because each of your skins is an animal that is alive and well and in Usura and doing Usuran things. And so for Len, his owl is busy in the winter of Usura is flying through snowstorms, is kind of cutting through and coming down out of the sky occasionally, and he sees like small groups of not quite like organized battle units. Does that make sense? It's more like the different guards of the Gaius and the Boyars that are under him. And the owl kind of taking note of like the towns that they're moving into, the villages that they're burning. There is as he's watching, he can see that there is a systematic assault on every sort of like rural village and town that's happening in Usura. And they're happening around like larger city centers, like they're trying to drive them into those cities to survive the winter because there's no way they'll survive the winter on their own.
No.
Um, and the uh give me a keen senses with your wits, with your owl form as a roll.
So keen senses plus wits plus Pyram, or just
No,
keen
your
senses
actual
plus.
owl form.
Oh, okay. So that's 6 plus
And you're keeping your wits.
10. All right, so 10, keep 4. Not bad. Please do better for me. 35.
There is he gets the like a shadow just fell over me, and that's not good because I'm in a snowstorm, and so that means it's whatever it is extremely close. And he feels the owl. His awareness also triggers the owls at the same time. Like his senses cross over, even though he's asleep. He's not just a visitor. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the owl like drops like fully a foot and barely gets missed, getting grabbed by the talons of an eagle. One that has bright green eyes and is immediately like circling back towards him. Um, and the owl goes into a dive, but like the owls are one of the least maneuverable avian creatures. Like they're very good at what they do at night, but compared to other like raptors and stuff like that, they're they're at a disadvantage. They're also at a disadvantage for like longer term flight. Um, but the snowstorm and the darkness are a good counterbalance. Um, and there's just a continual sort of like dogfight between the two of them. The owl getting closer and closer to the ground, starting to like get to the point where like they're in amongst a forest. And the the snow and the darkness within that forest give the owl an advantage in sight, but it's not really a huge one for compared to an eagle. Um, and he can feel all of the stress, all of the fear, all of the like instinctive responses from the owl as it's like ducking and weaving. Um, and then like a twist and like just as it's starting to feel like a claw catch into its wing, um, something rips and yanks the eagle away and smashes it against a tree, and then pounces on it when it drops down. And he like turns and looks and he sees a bird of flame like lifting its wings up and over as the like firebird's head dips down and like rips the eagle in half and starts to like chew on the halves of it, which Len knows like that's a Purium source that is now very dead.
Yeah. Well, he also recognized, I think you would recognize does it look like the phoenix that he saw in the vision of his bear?
Yes.
Okay. So he's going to kind of urge his owl friend to stop for a moment or two and blink and just kind of watch and see if there's anything else that needs to happen here, if the
The
owl is willing.
firebird turns and looks at Len, uh and there's a moment as it transforms and like the wings kind of ease back, and it's a woman standing in entirely too little clothing for a snowstorm in Usura, with bright red hair, green eyes that he recognizes as Tamara, one of the boyars, and one of the boyars that was uh most loyal to the old Gaius, but like out of a sense of belief that he could be rehabilitated. She was the one who rescued him from torture when he was a child. And she's also the one that apparently that by legend has the curse that she can never be lied to. Like the words will literally not form in the
Yep.
person's mouth.
Yep. And she's also the one who helped save his bear. So, I don't know. I don't think he can use his talk skill through an owl that he's only
Yes, he
empath.
can
Oh,
at
he
the
can?
moment.
Okay. Do I need to roll for that?
She like extends her arm like as an offering as a place to land.
Yep. And Len will urge his feathery friendo to do that. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Breathe.
Yeah.
We're okay.
And she strokes the feathers. She says, "This is not a safe place for you."
Uh, this isn't entirely where I planned to be. I was trying to speak to Mother. Uh, again, the world is in terrible danger, and the false wolf on the throne is only a small part of it.
She says, "You have proof of this? Proof of his falseness?"
Yes, I know where Kathrinia is, and she bears the legitimate marks.
And you see that like this is news to her and conflicting. And give me a quick wits and noble to read her in this moment.
So wits it is.
Actually, I will let you use Hunter as well because that is
Okay.
another thing that is very integral to her sense of.
Okay. 7, keep 4. 40.
So there is a what he reads is there's a sense of jealousy and like lingering dislike of Kithrania, um, that has everything to do with a foreigner being married to the Gaius. And like Tamara wasn't romantically attracted to the Gaius, but she did believe that she could influence him. And I don't want to say viewed Kithrania as like a liability, but like an outsider.
Yeah, she was an
Does that make
outsider who
sense?
could sometimes temper and direct the Gaius.
And and so like while there was a an appreciation for her ability to do that, there was a deep-seated sort of um just animosity to her in someone that Len otherwise knows to be, by all reputation, one of the most heroic of the Boyars.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And it's saying a lot. They are not a group with a reputation for kindness in any sort.
They are definitely not. They did not keep their power, do not keep their power by being friendly or
But
merciful.
Tamara certainly bears that reputation. And from Len's memory as a servant and whatnot, she was isolated. Her abilities made most people keep sort of a distance from her. Um, but she found a friend, or at least somebody that she could talk to in the Gaius, because he wasn't afraid of telling her the truth because he had power over her.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and she says, Matushka has chosen the Eisen as our Gaius.
Yes. She bears more than the hair. She bears the power. She came to us in the form of a Draken. I
And
have
you can see on her face she's doing her best to kind of like the mother is wise, the mother is wise.
Mother
Does
knows
that
what
make
she's doing.
sense?
Trust the process.
Like
Yeah.
I really hate the process, but she's trying to trust the process, right?
Yeah.
Um, and uh, she she says, I don't know a guaranteed way to call the mother to speak to her. I don't think anyone does.
No, I don't either. I've managed it more than I would have expected, but it's never been the same way. And most of the time she's been the one to kind of pull me into things. And I don't say this easily because every time we do talk, I find out about a new kind of doom uh, that's about to happen, or one that's been going on for a while, and now we know about it. I don't know what to do about it.
I don't envy your position. There's doom aplenty in Usura without
There
seeking
is,
out in other lands.
there is, and at this point, I can't return to do anything about it. If if we fail, uh, Usura's problems won't matter because there will be no Usura to worry about.
I do know for certain that Usura needs its Gaius, whatever
It,
my feelings about her.
it does, but there's no way she can return and take over right now. We know that she would be torn down and killed before she could firmly establish herself.
She has at least one boyar that will be loyal to her.
And I will make sure she knows of this. But
We may not have been friends, but I will not stand against Batushka.
that is wise. If Matryoshka has to directly involve herself in these matters, far more than the false Gaius and those who follow him will suffer. I thought
Um,
going to sleep in owl form was the maybe my best chance, and I'm still glad that I did. Otherwise, my feathered friend here would have been inconvenienced before you could have intervened. But which I do appreciate.
She says, it's a creative choice, but it may take more than a single night's flight to fly to the deepest hearts of winter in Usura. That is where Matushka is said to sleep.
Yeah.
And not all who enter return.
Oh, trust me, I'm familiar with the legends and the realities.
She says there are some creatures native to Usura that still cannot survive the cold that deeply north.
Yes. Yes, there are. And there are creatures who once walked these lands before Usura was Usura that seek to return to them, and they bear no love for humanity.
Um,
Is there anything else you would like me to pass on to Katrinia, or anything that you feel you need to know that I might be able to provide?
that she needs to be here. Says she wins no hearts and no minds outside of Usaran lands. If she wishes to prove to her people that she is one of us, she needs to stand with us in the midst of this conflict.
I
I
will.
am doing all I can to mitigate the Gaius's wrath. Says I've already been denounced by him, and he has claimed my title stripped, although that matters not one whit to my Nias.
Yeah. Well, he'll do whatever he can to appear to have power, even where he truly has none. I will let her know, but there are currently two major armies marching on where she is at this point, and if she does return, she does so with no support. She can't bring forces with her, supplies with her, money with her. She would have to come by herself and hope that you could help keep her safe.
She looks Len in the eyes, and she says, "You know the people of Usura as well as I do, and what they respect above all is courage and steel, especially in the face of what seems certain death.
That
If
is
she wants to
true.
prove herself the Gaius, stand against it with her chin up, and everyone will believe she is that."
I'll remind her, but I'll remind you that at least half of our legends end with people doing exactly that and dying terrible deaths.
Then that too is Matushka's will.
Eh, that one I think is less her will and more her just kind of going, you you all figure it out.
Um,
Matrushka doesn't. Matrushka loves us all. This I know directly, but she also loves the stones and the grass and the mice and the sparrows, and she loves it all equally.
of course, her blood is in all of it.
Well, I will make sure she knows, assuming I survive this trip and I'm not trapped as an owl for the next however long it takes me to turn back. My which if I do get trapped, better be before my daughter arrives. I don't think my wife would forgive me if her wife to be would forgive me if she had to introduce an owl as her husband and the father of her child. She'd
Some
do it,
owls,
but
she says, some owls would make good fathers.
some owls would. But
Um,
I think the
she
last.
uh,
Oh, go ahead.
she says, "Go and leave this one." Like kind of gesturing to your owl form. She says, "Return to your body, and when you are gone, I will instruct it that it must go to the edge of Matushka's domain."
Okay,
She says,
that
"Perhaps
will
you will
be
have greater luck then."
perhaps. Do you know roughly how long it would take?
I will escort it there and do my best to keep it alive and warm. When I have made the flight before, it is a day or two.
Or two. Okay. Then I will try again the next day and then the day after if needs be.
And she kind of steps back and you see her like features kind of start to catch flame and then for like just a moment all you can kind of see the green eyes before like wings spread out.
Yep. And then Len's going to the full body thing and kind of return to his body and reman.
Yeah, and I'm not going to require a warning on that because or like a roll on that because your skills are high enough now that I think it's like 97%. Because you were pulling back at the warning of another. I'm not gonna the roll that you made was not great, but it'll be like right on the edge of dawn.
He'll change back and then he'll reach up and be like, "Poink!" Oof, that was close.
And I think that's where we'll drop the curtain for now. The Doom Herald without a specific doom to offer this time.
Well, there's kind of a doom. He's got to go tell,
Well, he
kind of a.
didn't get a new doom from
He
Matushka,
didn't
at
get a
least.
new doom. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That'll be tomorrow night when he tries this
He's
again.
owed a doom.
So let me I'm gonna cut into our opening here. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to the Shadow of the Wachtturm. Producer tonight is one of the moderators of Dirty 20 Gaming, the delightful and compassionate Gloriosa. Our lore master of the series is the beautiful and benevolent Syndra. Before we get started, I wanted to give a content warning. While the spirit of Seven Seas, swashbuckling adventure, and shadowy intrigue, the story will deal with mature themes, including death, loss, suicide, and grief. Eisen, our setting, is recovering from a 30-year civil war over religious differences. It may get dark sometimes, and there's no shame in bowing out if it's not a place your head can go at the moment. So without further ado, I'm going to have our savvy swashbucklers introduce themselves, starting with our very own Bat Kyle.
Hi, folks. It's me, Bat Kyle. Sometimes, at least in this game, kind of Owl Kyle. But at heart, always a Bat Kyle. You can find me here on Sundays playing Len. Hey, Mom. Mom. Mommy. Mom. Hey, Mom. Costin. You can find me pretty much any other day usually at least in the chat of whatever game is going, trying to break people, especially Sarah, but not, just Sarah. Just the reactions are priceless every time. See, everybody knows. Besides that, you can find me on the Discord posting unhinged food memes. And while it's still, in alpha, I am planning to run a Scion, mostly second edition with my own twists game. So look forward to that. And other than that, let's go to Shadow.
Is that because I'm half asleep? Hello, everybody. I'm Shadow, also known as the True Shadowmancer. I'm one of the founders of the Desperate Dice Rollers channel, and you can find me regularly hanging out either in Dirty 20 Gaming or Desperate Dice Rollers. Tonight, I play Gerard Saint-Germain Dubois, our resident swashbuckler and unlucky at everything. Right now, I have nothing going on other than this, although sometime, hopefully in the near future, I will be running a D&D 5e campaign based in my homebrew world of Sasora. And we'll see what else comes up in the future. Maybe you'll find me in Scion sometime soon. We'll see. And from there, I will pass it down to Sans. Thank you, Rosa.
Yeah, my brain didn't process that correctly.
It's your turn.
Yeah, and I totally forgot my links. Because of course I did. Hey y'all, my name is Sarah. I go by Sans on the Discord. I am here, I want to say 3.5 nights a week. Tonight I am here as Rosa, more focused on like worst possible things that could be happening than anything else. Nyx, the Strega, who just really does not want to lose her beloved. I am on the Monday game, Pandora's Gift. I play Clarity Palace to Apollo. I'm the best healer ever. And that's a lot of fun. Wednesday, our Mask Oracle Force game. When it comes off of hiatus, I will be playing Nightwish. Probably not the leader much longer. And Thursday, our City Mist campaign, Deviant Paradox. I am the DM of the Chaos. And it is chaos. And if I can avoid looking at any form of chat, I will survive a game. But I can't. Because they are all contaminated. My players reach me no matter where I am. It doesn't matter.
We will
Other than
find
that-
you.
Yes. Other than that, you can find me in the Discord at Sans. I think I already said that. And over on Tango Productions, working with the Scarred Adventurer and Raw Paper Fox and stuff and things that'll come out eventually. Yeah, because you're right below me. Glory!
Hi, everybody. I'm Blaze of Gloriosa, and better known here as Glory. I produce on this channel 2 nights a week on alternate Wednesdays for our Masks, a New Generation game, Oracle Force, when it comes back. I'm never taking that out of my intro, so, here we go. And on Thursdays for our City of Mist campaign, Deviant Paradox, you can catch me in front of the camera 1 night a week on my own channel, streaming games, chatting about stuff. And then tonight, as honoring, we'll burn this fucking city to the ground if she has to, cease to cease. That's what Past Me wrote. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm not really doing much else. Work has absorbed my life and devoured it. So I guess we will go to Ruth. Do we just do Ruth? I feel like we just did Ruth. Okay, it's Ruth's turn.
See, this is what I mean, and how I almost get away with it. It's because they don't know. Hi, I'm Ruth. You found me. I am here on Monday in the Pandora's Gift Suncast as Xenon Alcides, Cleric of Nyx. Alternate Wednesdays in our Oracle Force game whenever we come back as Trek, other physics-based bullshit. Thursdays as Nora, poor girl Avalon. Maybe I like to troll Sarah as payback, as Biden said. Perhaps it is payback and perhaps you deserve it.
Oh, I deserve it 100%.
In Deviant Paradox. And today as Runa, a fucking course I did, Ingvild's daughter. That's about all from me. I'm gonna pass it on over to you, Hans.
Hey everybody, my name is Rory. It's always a pleasure. You know the drill. I am here tonight playing everyone's favorite deposed emperor, competitive sprinter, etc., etc. I'll skip to the part everyone loves. Everyone's favorite soldier boy.
You!
There we
You!
go.
Sarah, how dare you?
Hans Reifenstahl. You can also find me as another member of the Oracle Force cast as Graviton, specifically physics-based bullshit, nonsense, tomfoolery even. And yeah, speaking of that game, since we're on hiatus, catch up on YouTube if you haven't already. It's worth it, trust me. Do it. Do it now. Do it after the stream, not now. And yeah, aside from that, much like our wonderful producer, work is working. And nothing else is nothing elsing. So
Yeah, you said I'm too employed to have fun last week, and I was like,
Yeah.
that is now tattooed on like my brain.
I think that's my favorite descriptor so far. But that basically sums it up. So cool projects will come when cool projects come. Oh, who's not gone yet? I believe it is just Gav who has not gone yet. So I'll pass it over to you, my friend.
Correct. Hi. My name is Bison_Stonefist. I'm a regular on this channel, which is a fancy way of saying I have no life. It's true. I am here 3 nights a week. Tonight I am playing Gav the Grin, our big lovable back alley Batman, and Sewer Surf and Suplex Machine. On Mondays in the Pandora's Gift Suncast, I play Bophades Caridia, our humble servant of Hephaestus. Totally a cleric. I swear, for reals. That is, Yep. Pandora's Gift. I said that already. And on Thursdays, I play Garrett Sakes, the local emo kid slash demisexual disaster boy, in the absolute chaos incarnate that is Deviant Paradox. Other than that, you can catch me occasionally on Nate Cat Gold Chain Live, his stream when we're playing Call of Duty, or I'm trying to get Overwatch. I know I'm like 10 years too late on all these friggin' games, but I'm getting there. So I'm just playing games with my buddies, and that's all I do because, as before mentioned, I have no life. Back to the boss man.
I am Ciosa. I am the GM of Shadow of the Wachtturm. I always have 10 other campaigns cooking in my head, but not enough time to run them. But one of these days, I might learn how to run like one-shots or short campaigns and be able to squeeze them in here and there. Um, uh, you can find me here Sundays. I'm allergic to social media, so if you want to get a hold of me, find me on the Discord. It's a great place to be with lots of fun people to hang out with and a great supportive community that can really mean the world in these trying times. So, but I want to get back to our adventure. I have been threatened with violence and puppy dog eyes if I do not continue my normal introduction to the adventure. So I'm getting back to integrating it as I did before. So, in violence and puppy dog eyes, like in the same breath. In the ancient days of Numa, the great storyteller and philosopher Sarah's the Wiser once noted that adventure can only begin in one of three ways: by death, by slur, or by letter. But to begin without one of these incitements is folly, a tobacco best described as an indiscretion, a dalliance, an escapade. But fear not, we begin tonight, properly girded with a slur, the most dangerous of the three, and thus the most powerful. The specific slur in this case is a spoken through the gritted teeth of Jamais as she sits up and two-faced trollop, soulless sycophant, artless. Ow! And she breaks off from her slew of insults, and kind of leans over towards where Ruth is sort of going through the last
Runa?
sorry, Runa, thank you. He's going through the last paroxysms of like seizure and paralysis, and her brain just sort of like occasionally like shutting down to like not feel pain and then waking back up to like intense flares of it, as Gav is busy holding Runa down. And the as it starts to fade, Runa's, I don't think she's crippled at this point, but she's not in great shape.
I
she's,
have not taken many wounds.
I thought
At least you didn't tell me how many more I took. As of right now, I have 2 dramatic wounds.
You took 3 more as Gav got back to you, and that was because
I'm
you
crippled.
rolled so well. Okay, so for the first time, you are crippled.
Because I had 2 plus 3, that's 5. I'm crippled.
All right. So I think this is the first time
Worth
somebody's
it.
been crippled in the game. And what that does is that your 10s don't explode, although you can spend a
Hans
drama
was
die
crippled
on a
before.
single roll. Ah, that's right.
Briefly.
You can spend a drama die on a single roll to give you the normal benefits of a drama die and allow your dice to explode on that roll. Does that make
I'm
sense?
probably going to need you to take that run that by me again when I have to roll anything.
Okay.
Just so that I'm aware.
All right. So yeah, we're cutting back to Gav and to Runa. Jamais is sitting up. The healing that has been done is enough for her to. She is also crippled. She is currently sitting at 6 dramatic wounds, and she had a very limited span of time for Runa to have taken the poison from her before she would have died. And she sits up, and like the other cease women around her kind of all gasp and look worried. They're just not used to like seeing their patron like bloodied, damaged, etc.
Did one of them go to the Knights of the Rosencross?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Um, and
Fully clothed.
she went, yeah, she was closed and she was going as fast as she could, but she was also like lifting up hoop skirts and running as fast as she could in
And Runa
heels.
sent one of the panicked ones because only one person was calm and she needed her there to give her information as the poison was taking effect.
God. And she kind of she says, so it turns out Charlotte is a very good swordswoman.
I would not suggest doing that again, duh.
No, not alone. Certainly not.
And Gav says that in Montaigne.
And she gives a little bit of a smile at that. You know what I'm saying? She seems to realize that it was like in her own tongue. Um, but it kind of it's cutting through like the definite like look of pain and weariness like in her face.
Runa
Gav
kinda
figured
just-
it would be easier for her to understand than having to translate through the pain.
Runa just nods at not alone anyway, because she's probably like she woke up through the last of it, so I assume Runa like is just like catching her breath and her bearings.
She says there is one problem with our plan. She says I can tell she is far off and that she is in distant lands now because I can feel my blooded object moving. And so it moved suddenly and it moved far, far to the east. And I thought it was the time. I was not expecting her to be so ready to react when another Porte gate opened. She says there's something called Porte sickness, which is a moment of acclimation as one exits from the gate. Usually takes even a veteran like myself a few seconds to shake off. I was nearly dead before I had walked it off. Or before I had shaken it off, and I dove back into a gate as soon as I could.
She will know we are coming.
I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're not dead.
She says traveling with any wounds through a Porte gate is inadvisable. And I had several.
I saw.
Is the poison from Charlotte or from your travels?
Oh, it's from the treasonous little bitch. She says her sword had it built into the hilt. She says, fired a dart into my. And Ittori kind of like, was it a Vodachi blade? And she shakes her head. She says, no, it was something else. It had an inherent connection to Porte.
I have once watched a man conjure pistols from thin air and fire them already primed.
And she puts her fingers out and she just kind of draws them through the air, and you see like there's like a ripple, and she puts her hand into it and pulls a pistol out.
Perhaps it is something similar, da?
She says she is a master of Porte herself. Her weapon also can manipulate it in ways I've never seen. She says she could do that. And like she gestures to like the little pocket that she just opened. She says with the blade itself.
Strangeness of magic.
And Ittori looks thoughtful as he's listening. He says the poison that you were inflicted with is a relatively rare one from Crescent lands. There are certain serpents in the Crescent deserts that, when milked, their venom can still be used even months later.
So the question is, are you able to help our friends, or are they doomed?
We need to find another way.
She says, we need to find a way to at least put Charlotte off kilter, to buy us time to get through with a force that is ready. Says, but I feel with her hand tipped, she will make sure that she is under guard.
Then for extra guard.
You're cutting out.
Then we account for extra guard. If we take this path again.
She says, when I'm at my full strength, I can take 5 or 6 people with me.
I'll go. Then I can keep people alive to the best of my ability. And, well, hand out damage if necessary.
Ettore says, there may be some lingering effects from the venom. I'm going to dip back to my home and get some medicines that should help speed recovery.
Thank you. And thanks for getting there and back so quick, Gav.
From both Runa and Gav, I would like a wits, and in Gav's case, he can use his criminal, and Runa his medicine, or her medicine.
20.
26.
Okay. I'm going to give it to Gav more than Rune on this one, because I think while her training has covered a lot of like normal poisons and stuff like that, things which have like frequent antidotes or seen a lot, that like for Gav, it's not that the chance of him having an antidote on hand is low. Does that make sense? It's the chance of him having an antidote, period, is pretty wild. Does that make sense? It speaks to either the degree to which, like, Ettore himself is obsessed with poisons, you know what I'm saying, and maintaining a collection and whatnot. But it is definitely like, it's an oddity and everything. This is an antidote. He knows enough about, like, with his monster hunting and stuff like that, to know that an antidote likely comes from the original source of the poison and like reversing it.
Yeah, like poisoners have their tricks, and like, but generally they stick to one kind of style. Like whether it's, injected poisons, food poisons, what have you. If and Gav's seen Ettore pull off some crazy shit already. So for him to have Crescent,
Not
like,
just
what is
not
this
just
guy?
know what the crescent poison is, but have an antidote and have it on hand.
Mhm. Once Ettore out of earshot, like, there is so much we do not know about that man. I'm very glad he
Fascinating,
appears to.
really.
I'm very glad he appears to be on our side.
Yeah.
Lady Jamay, is there anything else you can tell us about the place that you arrived in before you were attacked?
She says it was. I saw enough of the town to see that it looked like a place that had mostly been abandoned. There was a ship with, I think, crescent sails. docked in harbor and a number of buildings that looked abandoned. It looked like a port, but one that hadn't been used in a long time.
Gav looks to Runa. It's like,
You're muted, Ruth, if you're saying something.
Does that sound familiar to Runa?
Yeah, it sounds exactly like what she's seen. It looks like she was going exactly to the area that I
That's
completely blanked on her name.
Riss.
Gris is that?
that's the area.
Which means that even if she had managed to like lull Charlotte for a time, Charlotte still would have been in the area of one of the most notorious Crescent pirates of all time.
mhm.
Which means that a reinforcement of 6 had better be damned good at fighting, like to
Us.
a man.
She is there, which means Kieran, a notorious slaver, is there with her. A group of 6 might not be enough. If a group of 6 is to be enough, they have to be damn good.
Um,
Being honest.
um,
I know our people are good, but we need to prepare.
Duh. This will be fast and violent.
Shimei says, it was foolish of me to go after her. I thought I might catch her by surprise. I was not expecting her reflexes.
And you did not expect family to quite literally stab you in the back.
And the front, and the sides.
I
She
appreciate you trying.
says after she realized who it was, that was when she used the poison. And I've never seen her look so gleeful before.
I am going to enjoy hurting her.
As will I, but as will Honorine, I'm sure.
I don't know what I've done to wrong her, but I sense that she feels wronged. There was something very personal in that.
Also, just not a good person.
The reasons matter little. The fact is she had an excuse and she was able to use it. Monsters like this are what I live to hunt.
She says, but you live to understand them first, so you survive the hunt. Do you not?
Duh. Duh. It will be difficult to observe her now.
Not necessarily. I know what she looks like. I know of her. I can always speak in.
And Gris is still in the area as far as you know, so.
Correct.
So I'm
So
gonna
if we need eyes on Charlotte, I can be eyes on Charlotte.
So I'm going to cut to Gerard and Honorine, who are making their way back from the Philosopher's Stone. I imagine, there's a tense moment. It was a tense confrontation. Honorine was, I think, emotionally ready to burn the house down, but backed off when she kind of realized that, like, it wasn't the actual owner of the house that was her enemy. And the guards were not necessarily accomplices. Where is she at right now? And I think kind of just why don't both of you describe kind of how they're walking, if they're talking, what's going on with them?
Gerard is lost in thought. As he walks, his fingers drum on the hilt of his blade.
I think Honorine is she's very like she's got like the adrenaline shakes, like the post adrenaline, like she doesn't usually start off a trip with like, I am going to kill this bitch. And she doesn't she's not used to, she's not a fighter. She's not used to like dealing with that sort of after feel. So I think she's kind of very like shaky. She's also very aware that like this is someone that Gerard was going to marry and that he cared very much about. So she's not like speaking out loud, but she's definitely got the kind of like, when somebody's just got a cloud over their head, like you can tell that they're thinking very unkind thoughts.
She's murder walking.
She-
She doesn't realize it.
she's definitely storming. She's definitely like very upset with a capital U. Like she's like gonna get back to her aunt. She's probably still panicking. She's not in great shape. Doesn't know if her aunt's okay.
My lady, I apologize. This is my fault.
No, this is Charlotte's fault.
I am the one who trained her.
Well, you can hand someone a sword, but you're not responsible for what they do with it. And you certainly don't expect them to stab family. Usually.
And this is not the person who I was to marry. This is not the same person.
Are you sure about that?
The person I was to marry was a kind, gentle person. One who shuddered at the thought of drawing blood. The attack on your aunt was vicious, precise, skilled, but
And at the description of the attack being like vicious and precise, Andrian's like kind of walking a little faster back toward. Was it her house? I think what I don't remember if
it's
it was
her
her house.
townhouse.
Yeah, back toward her townhouse, like very anxious to see if Jimmy is actually okay. I'm very sorry, Gerard.
I'm not to say, my lady, that it is not Charlotte, but it is not the Charlotte that I once knew.
What do you think happened to her?
I could blame it on her recent husband. I could blame it on influence of the church. I could blame it on any number of things.
Is she very devout?
Pardon? Devout?
Was she devout? You said the church.
I only think of the church because of the ambush on yourself in Route here. That seems. Perhaps I am connecting dots that aren't even on the same page. My mind keeps going to the coincidence of all the chaos that is happening. And I have never been one to believe in coincidence. Perhaps it is this Lady Yangreen that has been told to me. Perhaps she has come into something that has completely subverted her personality. Perhaps she was always this way and just fit it very well, and I was too lovesick to see it.
I don't know actually what to do here.
First, to get better out. Make sure that she is well. I do not believe that Charlotte is anywhere in the city.
We need to get word to Königsieger, the one actually worth knowing.
And how do we do this?
Pardon?
How do we do this?
I don't he's probably at his residence. We need to make sure he knows that she needs to be he's been holding off on arresting her, moving on her, because we were trying to learn more, which was a mistake, obviously.
Well, before we do so, there is something that we need to verify first. Where your aunt found her. If she is not in Eisen, Connor is not going to be able to do anything anyway.
Well, if she comes back to the city.
Wait. But if she...
I don't want there to be a single safe place for her to go.
Very well. We can send one of the archers. Do we need to make sure your aunt is safe? And I will not trust anyone with her safety now without me at her side.
Good.
Yours as well. You may frown, you may dislike it. But, my lady, the attack on your aunt is an attack on your entire family. And I have sworn to protect all of you. I cannot be in many places at once. I am not a practitioner of Poite.
You probably would have been really good at it.
There's nothing in my blood. It still is.
I'm glad we have you, Sharon.
Is appreciated, my lady.
About how far away are we? Seriously, like, can we?
You can be
Can we come like crashing in?
I think you're like just as you're arriving, you see. I don't believe Gerard has yet met Dietrich Proust. As he's arriving on the tail ends of a very panicked 14-year-old size girl. Who's clearly she's like huffing in a way that suggests she ran the whole way and back, right? And did it in a corset and in high heels and with hoops. And as she kind of like comes to a stop, she just sort of like wavers, you know what I'm saying? And Dietrich Proust like puts a hand to her back and kind of like steadies her. He's a man in his like I would say early to mid 40s. He's got gray temples, long black hair. He is very Eisen to his core, but he's not. The He has like the wiry build of blacksmith, and over it he has the tabard of the Knights of the Rosencross, which are known in every nation of Thea as an order of like charity and do-gooding and that nature. They've been active in the city for quite some time, focusing most of their relief efforts on the people out in despair. And Dietrich Proust himself, I don't know if Gerard would know or not, but he is known as one of the finest swordsmiths in the city. It's just his work only goes to Knights of the Rosencross.
Yeah, he would be, if he wouldn't know him directly, he would be very much aware of him, because that would have been one of the first things Gerard learned when he came to the city is who are the master swordsmen.
Then I should note that the other person that he's heard in the city as a master swordsmith is Mac, who is down in the merchants' quarter, and is a Highlands Marches man that Runa apprenticed under.
Honoring's going to like introduce them very quickly, like Gerard, this is Herr Proust. He is one of the greatest healers and blacksmiths. His order is renowned. And she's like kind of talking and walking like.
And he kind of like, and on the way to a patient, and he kind of, recognizing that the house belongs to Henri, and he waits for her to open the door.
Yeah,
and
she's
kinda,
like, yes, your patient's my aunt. This way, please, if you can. Yeah, I don't know what state she's in. I'm just coming back myself. Like she's kind of catching him up a little bit.
yeah. And he hurries in, and it's probably a relief for Henri to see Chimay like sitting up, being attended by a number of the size women. And
She hugs her immediately.
She's like, gentle. But she smiles, and Dietrich looks Runa over, and he says, "We'll need an empty room for the both of them."
Anything you need. I don't know that I have very many empty rooms, but we're going to empty one for them now.
Yeah, and one of the kind of older, sterner, size women who had been the one that like stayed there and remained calm and took the instructions that Runa gave. She kind of points to two of the youngest, and she's like, "You're double bunking over there. Get your things, move them out." And they're just like, "Aw," but there's not like a real argument. It's just sort of like, oh, it's necessary.
I love the calm size to size.
Yeah, she's the one who's like not afraid to be like the bad cop in her family. So
and she's looking around. Where's Ettore?
He went to check to see if he had an antidote for this poison.
He gave the antidote. He was going for medicine to help Runa with the after effects of the poison.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the antidote would have been.
Yeah, he already gave her the
Wait, the anti-venom
Did he?
antidote.
Can we get
'Cause he
clarification
kinda
on
had
what he went for?
He gave her anti-venom.
well, he said he was just going for medicines that would help with the recovery.
I see.
Oh, okay. I see. I misinterpreted.
My lady,
Yes.
could you please inform our members of the household to contact me the moment they see any signs of Porte?
Yes. And like as he says that, she's gonna kind of gesture around like you heard him. I think probably most of the household is standing right there. So she's gonna
Or just outside their room.
yeah, she's gonna be like, you heard him, and like poke her, head out to the hallway where the younger ones are listening, and be like, you too.
The older one is kind of going around like, no Porte in the house, no Porte in the house. Do not make us get a mirror spirit. No Porte in the house.
Well then, Herr Dietrich, I will be present in the room at all times. The individual who did this is a master of Porte.
And of the sword.
I am more concerned with the Porte at the moment.
It's because you're better with the sword than most of us.
He says, understood. He says, I can bring them to the chapter house of the Knights of the Rosencross if you think it would be safer. They would be surrounded by swordsmen.
And a hot Nibelungen. If she's still there.
I appreciate your offer, but she's a member of this household who I've sworn my blade to. And in order to protect the entirety of the household, I need them here.
He says, it was simply an offer.
Merci.
And Gerard watches him go to work. He kind of he like does make like, if you excuse me, I have to like remove this part of your clothes. Like, he makes sure that they're like sequestered in the room at that point. You know what I'm saying? But he starts pulling away like bloody pieces of clothing and stuff like that. I'm gonna do.
While
actually,
they're working on that, Henri's also going to get a message out to Logan that Charlotte should be, if she's going to politely tell him, like, if you're okay with it, Charlotte should be arrested on sight. Carefully, though, like, careful she's very deadly with a sword, like they should approach her carefully, like that kind of thing, like kind of sending a letter off with a note, not a letter. Her letters are
So,
long.
time is we're gonna be blurring some things forward. Proust is I'm looking up his actually just for the sake of drama, I'm going to say he's restoring a dramatic wound to Runa and to Jemay through his own surgery knack.
No longer
And
crippled.
which is enough for Runa to feel much better. For her, it's like mostly like dressing wounds and making things are stitched tightly. You know, a lot of like lectures about like we're not moving too much, we're letting other people do the heavy lifting at the bear house.
And Runa, he gets the. Runa's very much a no promises kind of girl. Like she's very, I'll do what has to be done, but I will try my best.
He says, I see. He says, I understand. He says that when last we spoke, you were dating a very large vested man who I understand works on ships.
Correct.
Good. I'm going to let him know that you can't be trusted.
And she kind of just
he says that he can do the heavy lifting for you.
Runa's a very independent girl.
He kind of smiles.
This conversation, I'm just gonna say, feels really familiar to real life, right? For me, right now. I'm just gonna say.
Not meaning to cause any flashbacks from real life, but he
no,
smiles.
This is funny. I mock my wife for her stubbornness about these
But
things.
Rory has also said this shit to me.
He smiles and he very gently squeezes her shoulder. He says, "You are a very gifted healer." He says, "And one of the greatest difficulties I had in learning healing was that I had to prioritize taking care of myself to take care of others."
I just didn't want her to die.
He
And I
says,
prevented that.
"You did, and now it is time to take care of yourself. So the next time your friends need you, you can be counted upon."
If I have to ask your sailor friend how to tie knots, I will tie you to the set to make sure you
I'll
do
teach
not move.
you. I'll teach you how to tie knots.
He says,
You think I didn't grow up
but
learning?
if you teach me the knots, then you will know how to get out of them, and that is not working.
Luck has tried to tie me down more times than he could know.
Honoring's literally like, oh, I never thought of that. Is that how that? Oh my god, that explains so much about Anjay.
That's good.
And Jemay is kind of giggling and then wincing throughout most of this encounter. She's still crippled even with dramatic.
She's laughing at Runa getting a talking to.
And she says, I promise the heaviest thing I will be lifting will be a book.
A small book.
I was literally just thinking that.
She kind of smiles. She says, "But I have no problem being waited upon. I'm a duchess. Give me a bell and I'll be fine."
I wish I knew how to sit back like you do.
She says, "Step 1, get a bell." She says, "And step 2, don't be afraid to be obnoxious."
I'll keep that in mind if I need it.
And she says, "In step 3, recognize that those who are waiting on you hand and foot are getting an opportunity to show you that they love you that they might not otherwise have."
So let them show their love, you're saying.
She nods.
I'll work on that.
And Dietrich kind of like, "I am going to steal that if you don't mind." And Jemay just kind of smiles at that. And we're gonna, like the tension kind of, ratchets down. We are going to cut over to Hans.
Oh God.
So where is Hans going to get in contact with his shadow daddy?
Well, left at the bear house. They're prepping for a play. They're prepping a bunch of stuff. They're always busy. He honestly, he'd probably go home at this point. He'd probably walk all the way back to his house.
I would note that between his house and the Bearhausen is that florist shop that has been steadily taken over by Blackwood.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that place. Okay, never mind. I'm going there.
That's a callback. Been a
That
while
place
since
is
So
I've been
cool.
there.
so it's now been weeks that this place has been apparently abandoned. Hans has never seen a florist here. Does that make sense? Um, and it's reached the point where it's kind of got that vibe where like the local kids might dare each other to go in, but like nobody's taking the dare anymore.
We've moved past Monster House. Now this place is just actually terrifying.
It is definitely like the creepy house in the area. And as he goes in, like he feels an almost immediate sense of ease. Does that make sense? For him, it's like walking into a spa. There's something that there's something about the tower itself that has had a very subtle influence on Hans. That for the first time, he feels almost like he's in a bubble where it's not touching him. Does that make sense? Um, the best analogy that I can think of is it's like he's had oil on his skin that is finally getting washed off as he comes in here.
Finally washing
And
my hands after eating a greasy burger.
a-
Incredible.
and when he kind of looks into like the back, because like there's the front shop and then there's like a little walled area that had like planters and stuff like that, and the trees have started to sprout but haven't yet like grown tall enough to grow over the walls, right? But all of the flowers and ivy have sort of spilled over everything, and the snow is like, literally atop them. Does that make sense? This is not like an ideal for a florist during the winter season, and likely there was some sort of tent or whatnot that got put up to like protect everything through the winter that is not up. But beyond that, all of the little maintenance that you do on a shop or house, there's no sign of it. And the place is slowly like falling into decay.
I'll find a shady corner, just kind of like sit down and lay his sword across his lap and try to relax a bit more and then focus in and try to reach out into that strange shadow place that has actually become very calming, which is nice.
Um, it's kind of more instinct than anything else. Is like Hans has like a flashback of like when he was in the basement with the member of the Inquisition, and made an offering of him in front of Gav and Lan, I believe, um, with the blades that had come out of his Panzer hand. Um, when he kind of like reaches a hand over like one of the pieces of blackwood, he feels a thorn like dig into his hand and watches as where he bleeds, it looks like amber flowing from inside of his hand, like into the tree for just a moment, and like absorbing completely. And he realizes that in this place, his glamour is completely gone, like the sort of other Hans that's there.
Oh,
So like if somebody were to walk in, they would see like the monstrous hands.
mm-hmm. Fun.
Um, and he hears that like very rich, familiar voice. The one that was sort of almost like it's been a progression because the first time he spoke to it, it was almost mad and feral. And now, like every time it seemed a little bit more collected, a little bit more controlled. Um, and not just sort of like the monster of the woods. Does that make sense? Um, but he sees like several of the trees, they sort of like move and twine together in a shape that looks nearly humanoid. Um, and part of the branches kind of like weave themselves into something that's like a face. Um, He says, "My crusader."
Has been too long. I have many more questions for you as usual, but
You are grappling with many problems.
you are lucky this place is so calming.
He says, "You are far from home." And you know he doesn't mean Heelgrund. He means the forest itself. Like that
Yeah.
you're now a creature of it.
Fuck. Well, no sense in stalling. There is something that is eating at me. It has been for some time. Yeah. Well, I realize this is much more than I had bargained for, as it were. But you have kept many things from me. You have kept a great many things from me. I want to know this war, this thing, this supposed doom of the world you have raised me for. I see many, many enemies on my doorstep. Each day the number growing.
I
Yet I
do
find
not
no
raise you to
clarity.
doom the world.
No, I know that. I mean, who is... There is so many dangers, so many evils in the world. Who is to be the thing I am meant to fight? What is the army I'm raising for? I've not known this since the day I was this. You have not told me since the day that this. There is a greater and greater foe finding its way to me each and every day. I don't know what to do now. What?
And I have done all I can to prepare you for them. But you're right. I have kept things from you. In the beginning, it was because I doubted your faith. I believed that if I showed you the truth of what you were, you would leave me. And I could not abide that. Your faith gave me the strength to become something more than what I was. This is coupled with the joy and love that Honorine provided. It allowed me to become more than a monster. Fear still sustains me. Fear is my lifeblood. And says, but I can use it for something than simply sowing more terror now. And I am capable of remembering my sister and the love that I feel for her. I owe you that. So I am sorry that I did not trust you sooner.
I understand.
It says, when one is truly alone, one forgets the pain of loneliness until there is warmth again. I had long forgotten it. It says, you've met my sister. When the time comes, she will be standing at your side, protecting the tower, protecting the city from those who would come for it. Those who would come for it, you have not yet met. But they style themselves as good and true and sell everyone into the lie of that. The Sidhe will align themselves as an army under Queen Elaine, an army meant to free Freeburg from the darkness which grips it, an army that will save the world. They don't care about the saving, they care about the glory and the story. And they will cut down everything which looks as you and I do.
So they are the ones to doom the tower then.
He says that conflict may well doom it. It says they know of the doom to the tower, and they are waiting for the right moment to rush in. The moment that will grant them the most glory, the moment that will give them stories so they can spread new Sidhe on these lands. New glamours.
What of the rest? Seeger, Posen, the fucking things that are locked behind that stupid mass of bones. What collateral damage, bad timing, consequence. What am
If
I
the
supposed
tower
to do against
falls,
these
if the
things?
tower falls, that barrier will shatter. Those creatures will rush in. It says, when I created my forest, I needed to find a place that was not Bryn Brasail and was not the world. What I found was the night paths, and I bound my forest to it. So I've been able to see that barrier and see their world and see the comings and goings of the little crosses for centuries.
Is there maybe wishful thinking, but is there hope to be found in the Nightways, perhaps? Or is that just another vector of our doom?
There are no allies to be found in the Nightways. There is me. And I say that as someone who has sought to make alliances there, who saw fellow monsters and hoped to bring them to my side.
They would not listen. They're all mad, are they not?
They wish for the destruction of all life, those things that are native to it. It says,
Craving
I do not.
death, oblivion. We are all we have, yeah?
Not entirely true. There is my sister. There are alliances to be had outside of the council itself. There are allies that can help you fight against Seeger and Posen, but ultimately those are mortal enemies. They can be bested by mortal means.
Then what of the danger of the Nightways? Are we hopeless to stand against this tide of death incarnate?
For a very long time, there are those that have sought to bring creatures on the outside of the Nightways in. That is the purpose of sorcery, to weaken the barrier, to allow them access. It was the creatures beyond that barrier who gave sorcery to mankind. And there are those in their greed for more that would undo mankind.
I've seen some of those myself. He's been like walking around this whole time. And he just like he leans against a tree and slumps down to the ground. Mortal enemies and mortal means and things from who fucking knows where. Looks up at him, at where the eyes would be, I guess.
And he can see a darkness in those eyes that he can tell sees him. Like, it might not look like eyes, but he feels seen.
Is it that every time we speak, I only feel more lost, more crushing doom? You said you've prepared me as best you can.
As best I can. He says, but when the final battle comes, you must know. You will be outnumbered. You will be outgunned. What will stand between you and victory is only the steel inside of you. As you have faith in me, I have faith in that steel.
You perhaps impart some of that faith on me. The more I think, the more I lack the faith in my own steel. The more I wish to hide in the darkness in a cave under these trees and just let it all burn.
He says, I don't believe that. He says, I understand the wrath, he says, and I have stood where you stood, ready to burn it all down. He says, but I don't believe that, because you have a sister you are willing to bleed for, and I have a sister I am willing to bleed for. So we do it not for ourselves.
I'm too far gone to let it all go now.
He smiles. He says, if I thought for a moment it was too far gone, all of Eisen would feel my wrath unleashed from the Shadow Forest.
That I do not doubt.
And he feels like the touch of branches across his cheek and his neck, and kind of meeting his gaze as he has him like look up at him. Says, rage is its strength. Rage is action. Says, despair is what you must fight against. You are born of strength. Says, you have your father's cowardice, and you despise it. And that will make you the man that you need to be in the moment.
Stands up. Best prepare for that moment then.
There's one thing I will show you first. And the entire sort of herb garden disappears, but it doesn't fully disappear. It's more like the images are sort of playing up in and amongst it. And you see the area underneath the city, the actual like specific place where Len and Gav found all of those bodies. I think Hans was there at that time, right?
Yeah, like the murder house.
No, no, no. It's like in the Cernith tunnels. That was like
Oh,
right
oh,
outside of like the
oh.
ruins area, right?
Mhm.
And when they found him, they'd been dead for quite some time. Um, and um, Hans sees a man um, step through the portal. Um, and give me just 1 second. This picture ready. Um, I'm going to pull this from a different place than usual. Sorry, this was not prepared beforehand.
Happens.
So this is a smaller image, but I like it over the black and white one that he also has, so I'm sharing it instead. Uh, he's garbed in like silks and velvets, with a fairly prominent like Bothersome cross at his neck. But he emerges from the actual gateway in the center, or from like one of the doorways on the side. Does that make sense? You remember how those were connected to like different cities across
Yeah.
Thea?
There's like a whole,
He
yeah, it's a whole
steps through
network.
one like as if fully understanding like how it worked and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And he uh he walks silently. He's got, gorgeous leather boots and pants. In a lot of ways, having seen a Torre, you can see like a certain similarity in vibe. Does that make sense? Like very stylish, very comfortable. He has a sword at one hip and a blade at the other. Um, sorry, a parrying dagger at the other. And he walks up the step to the actual tunnel itself between the two sort of like magnetic barriers that were keeping everything out. Um, and he just looks around um, at the shadows around him, and he says, "Are we going to do this then?" And a man just simply like throws himself out of the shadows with like a shadow blade extended, and you see him, he just like leans back and out of the way, and the one who threw himself, it like stares down at his chest where like the fencing blade is already out and through his heart. It's like the deftest repost you've ever seen, if it's even that, right? Because he didn't even see where it was coming, and the man was like dead before he landed his attack. um oh, sorry, we're supposed to see a picture, yes. Like I said, it's a little bit of a grainy picture because it's taken from the cover of the Badachi book. Um, and there were 30 something bodies that were like in that space. And Hans watches as nearly 30, as like 30 assassins like throw themselves out of the shadows from every direction trying to bring him down. Um, and he just moves like lightning. It is insanely fast, and he understands implicitly that the weapons that are coming at him with are shadow blades that are like the length of knives. He seems to know not necessarily the direction that they're going to come from, but like they're not quiet enough to go unnoticed. And the blades that are in his hand are shorter than the fencing blade he has. And every single time as they're coming in for the cut, he's just aligning it with like an artery or a heart or a lung. And like they bleed out and drop. And suddenly he is standing in the middle of a room of dead assassins. And with like one whip of his blade sends like a crescent of blood across the floor.
Is this the same guy that Gav saw in Ettori's waiting room?
Yes.
I know we're not there, but
Yes, it is.
it is that guy. Interesting.
And then like the image kind of spins and you see the same man there sitting with Strauss, sitting with Master Kazi. And he says, it's a most interesting offer. I don't know very much about your order, but if you say it supported the Hierophant for centuries, then I, as a man of faith, am willing to back it. I will help you rebuild, but I'm going to require a little bit more access than your previous patron did. And Strauss, like, he looks deeply concerned. And Hans knows Strauss to know, like, he has the look of somebody who knows he's making a deal with the devil, but doesn't have a choice about it.
Yep. Fuck.
And the he says, I will provide all the coin, all of the material requirements that your order requires. But I think you will need my advice if there is some other organization out there targeting you that has such knowledge of your operations. And Strauss kind of says, we need time to rebuild. With no Hierophant to offer us backing, we need coin as well. He kind of, his jaw hardens. He says, if you cross us, I do not care if you are a merchant prince. We will end you. And Giovanni Villanova smiles and leans forward. And he says, I feel like I'm back in Vodacce, and reaches out and shakes his hand. Now let me back up, because Hans putting this into place as a name, like as he's shaking his hand, is because Giovanni Villanova has a reputation of negative 130.
Oh, oh no. Oh.
That's almost fully twice Seeger's.
He is one of two people that have that low a reputation. He
Who's
is
the
called
other?
the other one is
Ingvild?
Captain.
Oh.
The other one is a
Yeah.
unkillable pirate captain named Captain Rice, who has been known to like cut down fleets.
I feel like you've talked about him before. I understand.
I really want to meet this man. Not the pirate captain, the other one.
And Hans kind of comes back and he says, I would be, and the Shadow Man, he says, be very careful when discussing this man. He has eyes and ears in many places. And I do not yet know his intentions.
Doom and gloom to no end.
Says, no, a mortal foe
Yeah,
can be dealt with by mortal means.
What do you think he's up to?
Says,
Yes, I don't know.
he
What does he want
manipulates
with them?
an order of assassins to come to serve him without realizing it. He does so by weakening their numbers and then offering them a hand in a time of weakness.
Another thing to keep in mind then. Prince fucking with the nightmares. Wonders never cease.
Shed your despair.
Yeah.
And the kind of shadowy visage draws back. I want to pause. I do want to give you a drama dice for this scene.
Yay!
It was mentioned in the chat, and I didn't want to interrupt the flow to do that. So, so we're gonna cut over from there to Rosa and Len in the morning after he's come back and defeathered his hair.
Well, I didn't get a chance to speak to Mom, but I did get a chance to speak to someone else rather unexpected. Tamara, one of the Boyers, one of the ruling class, even if she's kind of been effectively removed from the ruling class by the false guys. She saved my owl from another practitioner who was in the form of an eagle. I don't know what he was doing there. I don't know if they're just hunting any animals they can catch, trying to weaken non-aligned Pyrium users, but whatever the case, things are really bad in Asura now. The false Gaius and his followers are burning and pillaging the outlying villages, trying to force people into the cities where they're easier to corral, control, and take advantage of. She let me know that she would support Kathrinia, but if Kathrinia wants the throne, wants to make a change, she has to go back to Asura. And given everything, she would be doing so alone. And no, this is not saying I'm going with her or anything. I want to put that out there right now. I'm staying here to take care of you and our child to be, just in case I was a worry. I know how I thought how that could have sounded there in a minute. So
I was actually going to offer that you do go with her.
does anybody else smell burnt toast? I will admit, in all of the things that I would have expected, that was definitely not one of them.
If she's needed there, if what everyone is saying is right, Honorine said stability might stop everything that's happening. So
Yeah.
if was it Honorine or was it Runa? I don't remember. It was somebody.
Somebody said something about stability.
Somebody said stability. Somebody. And
Genuinely could have been either of us.
yeah. And maybe that's our first step. Maybe if we get her back to the throne, it might stop some of what's happening.
It's possible. If nothing else, she could, assuming consolidation goes swiftly and well, threaten Posen's border and force at least Posen to split attentions. Let's face it, nobody wants a two-sided war, especially not a smart commander. And I hate to say it. I hate all of this. I just want to have a quiet life with you and raise however many kids we have. And if you wanted to stop at one, I get it. I get it. But just have it's sometimes like I can hear this voice in my ear talking shit. Um there it is again. It's crazy. I'll have to smudge the house later. But yeah, another thing comes to mind. The false Gaius is allied with the old wolf, one of the original spirits that is not loyal to Matryoshka and always looks for ways to undermine, weaken her, and supplant her if possible, kill her for his freedom, if not. Having a creature like that influencing the throne is just one more fucking otherworldly influence on this world that this world does not need.
I know it's not what either of us wanted, but I think you going with her, since you both are able to turn into birds, and then once everything is set there, or once she's actually there, you could come back. I don't know exactly how certain politics works.
Brutal,
Vodachi,
bloody, and unforgiving.
like Vodachi. A lot
Probably
of
a little more.
backstabbing and a lot of how can you ruin someone's life and reputation before they ever see it coming.
A chunk of that. Also, front stabbing is actually because Ursurans value toughness and such. So if you can backstab, great. If you can get away with front stabbing, like just completely ruining somebody out in the open with your own hand, that's respected. It's
We have if we may need to talk to the rest of the council to make sure this plan works. But if I'm correct, or if someone's correct about stability being the reason to, or the way to stop ruin and stop all of this.
I would like both of you to make wits and keen senses rolls.
Shit. I don't have keen senses.
It's fine.
So it's a 4 keep 4. Got it. 26.
33.
So you both, as you're like talking, you can hear a noise that sounds like it's coming from outside. That it sounds like the steady thrum of drums, except if the surface of the drum and thing striking it were both made of metal. But like there's a repetition to it that's like at a drum beat cadence for song. Does that make sense? It's relatively faint. Like steel drums if the sticks themselves were also steel. Like there's sort of like a ringing. We're not being invaded by Rastas.
Rosa would go investigate.
Yeah, Len's gonna grab
as
his spear and let's go find out if we need to stab somebody.
as you kind of look out the front window, what Len sees floating in like the front yard of his townhome is what's always been described as the mortar and pestle of Matushka, but like a device that she gets around on. Does that make sense? to more accurately describe it, there's sort of like one part of it that looks like a 70s style egg chair. Does that make sense? But
Mhm.
without the base. And attached to it is like a long extended pair of metal somethings with small little wings off of them. The shape is the shape's unusual, but Len has seen her like flying on it, but just sort of like standing in it. He's never seen it without her, but
I
it's
think
floating right there.
I think I have to go, my love.
All right.
And um, if I get on and it doesn't move, that might mean she wants to speak to you too. But I'm not thrilled about that idea. So let's see what happens here. And he's
I
gonna
s-
give her a hug and a kiss, and he's gonna go get on the Bowser mobile.
So not quite the Bowser flying machine from Super. Think more like a chariot with like instead of horses in front of it, it's just got like the steel spokes. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah.
And like the egg chair you don't sit in, you would sit in it like facing f with the back part of the chair like in front of you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And it sort of it bobbles a little bit when Len stands on it, but it doesn't immediately move.
And he'll hold out a hand to Rosa.
She'll get on it. Cause sure, yeah,
Um,
of
and
course.
after it like she stands on it, there like little handles pop out on either side.
Grab on.
Um, it it takes a little bit like, but when Len is touching one and Rosa is touching the other, the thing takes off like the speeders of Return of the Jedi, just from zero to fully like things going by in an absolute blur. Does that make sense? Like it darts down two streets well above the heads of like it kind of like wind and snow like coming by and it rush as it passes. And then it goes straight up, does a full loop-de-loop. Something is keeping you sort of like stuck to the chair of it.
Centrifugal
And then it
force.
dives towards the water, goes through an access to the sewers that neither of you have ever even seen before, is flying at the same speed through the sewers. You know what I'm saying? With like your head like literally inches from like the rocks overhead, and fully barrels into like the one wall that leads down into the area below and into the Cernith ruins. It has been about 20 seconds since you got on it. But by the time it's like done that and coasts down over the tunnels and down into the gate, and the gate immediately begins to activate as it's approaching. Like just begins spinning up. You see the same kind of like the gems just like throw themselves into place, and Len and Rosa are through it at the exact same speed. It never slows down at any point in this, and like the coverage of it from like when it goes through the gate is again like inches from having like your head taken completely off, right? And then you're on the mirror sea doing the exact same speed, although it's a little different on the mirror sea because there's no ripples of water going by. As it beelines, it dips down just enough. There's sort of like a throw of like water into the air, and you see the tower dead ahead. And it goes in at the exact same speed, and you see that massive gate begin to power up, and begin to spin. Um, you have just enough time to see that it's like set to the red setting instead of anything else. You've done orange before when you went to Valhalla.
Yeah.
And at there's like the rush of energy as it goes through, and then it shoots straight through, and you are in another, it looks like Eisen. Um, there are massive mountains, deep forests, um, and the thing just comes to a rest in the middle of a forest with trees that are like towering redwoods instead of pine trees. Um, the uh, Give me a reaction from both of you. Like, is there screaming? Is there holy shit? Is there amazement? Like, where are you at?
Len gasps deeply because he hasn't actually taken a breath since the thing started moving. Like there wasn't even a time, he didn't need to actually take a breath before they were all of a sudden here. And he gets off of the thing and he tries to help Rosa down as well. And then he just hugs a tree for a minute, a tree that's not moving at, 400 miles an hour through dimensional barriers and other things.
And as he's hugging it, like Rosa sees there is it might be like a wood flea or something like that, but it's the size of a dinner plate that just crawls across the trunk of the tree above Len's head.
Rosa would warn him, but her reaction is she gets out and she is shaking. She didn't scream, but it is shaking, 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 goes to walk to Len and collapse. Just
Oh, no. That's about the one thing that would get Len off this tree at this point. He's immediately over and trying to help her up and stabilize and hug her. And
Um,
that was very fast.
yeah, I think I
both of
left
you
my
hear
breakfast in the front yard.
both of you hear a deep growl emanating from in the woods. And as the both of you look up, you see a full size like Draken, like the one that Runa found the bones of in um the Drakenbergs. Like not like the size of like the cathedral or the Bone Bridge or anything like that, but like the full 25 feet tall. I could probably go toe to toe with a Verschlingen. The creatures that have defined Eisen's like idea of courage for the last few centuries is like slithering between trees and eyeing Len and Rosa like they look tasty.
And Len is immediately planting himself in front of Rosa, spear out, and waiting to see what happens.
It gives a shriek and kind of, wings come up, uh, tongue comes out. And as deep as the growl is, the voice that follows it is like listening to mountains echo. Um, as a claw large enough to scoop up the entire Draken does so in like a single motion. The claw that comes and picks it up is the size of the creatures that make the Bone Bridge or the Cathedral, and it is just as scaled, and it towers over the redwoods. The shadow of it like looks down, and it's like one claw on the other hand goes and strokes the scales of the Draken that looks like a kitten in its paw. And it kind of soothes and gives like a dirty look to Rosa and Len, you know what I'm saying? And then like get stroked again, and then the big claw kind of like mashes the head a little bit, like it's like roughing up fur, right? And like sets it down and kind of like taps it on the tail, and it like skitters away. But it looks like a cat that's been told what to do and doesn't like any part of it. As an actual living, breathing Draken lowers its head down to the point where it can regard Len and Rosa and says, "You are not the mother."
No, I've been trying to reach her, and she sent her conveyance to bring us here.
A most wonderful conveyance.
It moves with unbelievable speed.
It and the creature seems to smile and says, "Are you friends of the mother?"
He taps his like right by his eyes. I'm a child of the mother.
You get a massive head with like the eye of it is as big as Len is. You know what I'm saying? As it comes closer to try to like figure out what it is he's gesturing to.
No, like
And
open.
yeah, because it's a very tiny little detail for like the scale of this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And he kind of, and instead of like seeing it, he just kind of turns, and Len gets a full body lick. Like from like the tongue just goes from like foot to like head, and it kind of smacks its lips and it
Cowlick.
says, "You taste of the mother. Her blood is in you."
Yeah, we've visited multiple times, mostly when she's showing me some grave danger to the world. And we've learned of even more dangers, and I was hoping for her guidance.
See.
Do not know what guidance I can provide, but we are the oldest of her children, and the first she placed away for safety.
Yes, and it's that placing away for safety that is now rather the focal point of our struggles. Do you know of um, do you know the artifact that she has made kind of the center of her locking away the Cerneth and other creatures
It
that were
says
a
the
threat to their
linchpin.
world? The linchpin, yes.
See.
I am its protector. Here.
Well, as best we can be, um, our compatriots and the two of us are its protectors in our version of the world.
Are you sure? You are very small to be protectors.
To be fair, there aren't, that at least that we know of, anything as big as you, or even really was the young one, um, in our world anymore. There are no more Draken. It's mostly
The sickness
beings.
claimed them. This is
The
why we were
sickness?
sent. Says it was not enemies that brought us low. Says it was illness.
Oh dear. That would make more sense. I have no idea how many humans, especially before firearms were a thing, it would take to actually bring one of you down.
Are they all your sized?
Yes.
How
And
many
some
are
slightly
there?
bigger. Millions at this point?
I do not mean to be rude. I am not certain that they would be capable of harming me.
No, that's I'm in full agreement with you. Although, like I said, firearms, which is a new kind of weapon that can do incredible damage when masked from beings out, even masked beings
He
our
leans
size.
back and casually breathes a gout of fire that would incinerate a forest in your world, but just sort of goes above the treetops. He's like that.
Different kind of destructive, but that would probably sort of take care of the whole problem before it really bothered you. But the problem is the incarnation of entropy itself, the living embodiment of ruin, is free of Valhalla and working to engineer the destruction of the linchpin. Along with that, agents of the Cerneth, including we've apparently encountered at least one actual Cerneth using their artifacts.
I don't know what this
And-
word you use means. Cerneth.
Bug people?
The Thalassai.
That might be that might be it. I'm
Thalassai.
gonna remember that name. They used weapons of light, red metal.
And Rosa will pull out what she has.
Oh yeah.
Like the drawing of, or
She's got
Uh,
live knives, doesn't she?
She has a couple of the live ones, I think.
Yeah, Gav made sure she kept one on her for
oh, okay.
protection.
he
despite
just
her
like
being like,
he peers way down at it, and kind of like it again looks like it's like on a detail that is like probably small for his eyes to even make anything of. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And he says the thalassite mastered weapons of light. It says, as well as used it to disguise themselves as other creatures.
Yes. Then
That
we're
is them.
talking with yeah. Same beings, different name. I saw in a vision from Matrushka when she locked them away from the world in their own bubble of reality.
Yes, they were, says, at the time, there were several races made by Matushka upon the world, but the Thalassai made war upon the Setines, who themselves replaced us. Says there was no malice in our replacement. We had to depart. The world had become poisonous to us.
Um, and the Setine, I don't know much about them, but I'm wondering if they were another one locked out. I know more than just the Thalassai were locked away.
Says the Setine were, uh, he says they were developed from crabs, from crustaceans.
think we saw something about that.
See, I believe Gav told us about there being two different types of Cernith. One, the one that we've seen, the as you called them, Thernazai?
Thalassai.
Thaldazai.
Yeah.
And
He kind
uh
of, and he draws like he's making like a helpful, and you see him like he just carves massive swaths of earth, and you realize afterwards he's drawn like the Draken symbol for Thalassai, but it's also like fully the size of like a small home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And we saw them, or at least ghosts of them, when we went to Valhalla, which I know you weren't there for. Um, but along with that, the other barriers between realities and something called the Nightway are being assaulted by Unraveled, those who were killed by overuse of fate magic.
see,
I
and
do not know
thus
much about this.
that is from my sorte.
I do not know that word either.
Magic.
It's been a very long time since we've had visitors.
My magic from Matrushka is the ability to um, partner with various animals to take their form, various creatures.
My magic is to see the strands of fate.
Other magics that humanity have are Porte, the ability to open gates of blood and step through to other places, and rune magics that you do things like throw lightning or inadvisably take wounds from people, even when you probably shouldn't take as many as you take.
There's also fire magic
Yep.
that I have seen to both douse a fire and to create one.
That's fascinating. It says sorcery has always been in Thea. It says in different forms. It says channeled in different ways. I understand, he says, that over time, he says, with enough mastery of it, some portion of that mastery can be passed through the blood. He says, he kind of, do you mind if I, and he just sort of, like, he extends a claw down and, like, he picks up the Matushka's conveyance and sets it on it and, like, gestures for Rosa and Len. It's like, I need to take you to my home.
Well, I'll take a deep breath and take Rose's hand, and I guess
Yep.
we'll get on the thing.
Get on the big fast scary thing again. Let's go.
There is something very like he closes his claws and he kind of puts the other one over it. You know what I'm saying? And he looks at like the Draken who like hisses again, like this the the giant 25-foot, but like comparatively small dragon. He's like, don't be like that. We have guests.
The
Um,
terrible 200s.
uh,
I don't know how it is with dragons.
he's very jealous. And he um he leaps into the air. There is no amount of physics that explains its ability to fly. Like, there is not enough ratio of wing to how heavy this thing must be to like get it airborne, but its wings allow it to fly, and it makes for mountains that like they dwarf the Drakenbergs. And into a cave system that he steps through, and it's like proportional enough that as big as he is, it's like a door for him, and he kind of squeezes through and heads down stairs that open up until you realize that the literal entire inside of this mountain has been hollowed out and like supported through massive carved stone architecture. And there are things like furniture inside of it, but that are scaled to something that is itself like the size of a tree. Um, and it sets the pair of them down on a table. It's like, excuse me, I've been so rude. I don't know if I have any refreshments that would be suitable for you.
Um,
Are you
just gonna look at
omnivorous?
Rosa.
Carnivorous?
Omnivorous.
Um, he kind of he goes over to like part of like the mountain, and you see there's something that looks akin to a bookshelf, but with like massive slabs of stone that would probably be easily like 100 foot tall. And he pulls one of them down, and then he reaches into a thing that is just like rimed with snow that has large draken marks on it that glow with some sort of magic. And he scoops out a handful of berries, but it's a handful for him that when he sets down on the table, each individual berry is like half the size of one of you. Like think like a 4 foot tall raspberry.
Hmm.
And
We're gonna.
he takes like a little tiny tumbler and he squeezes one of them into it like a shot glass and sets that down as like a beverage, and then sets the massive stone tablet down next to the both of you. He says, this is a recording. It says, from when the Draken first assisted Matushka and the Razdost in the creation of the linchpin.
Oh,
We were collaborators. Some might say servitors, says, but we recognized them as our makers, and they appreciated our companionship. We had lifespans to match their own, and we made many labors light work.
yes, I believe.
Um,
I saw the war between them and the Fae.
he says, when Matushka lost her siblings.
Yes.
Um, he kind of, bows his head sadly. And he's kind of going through like the lines on the stone. Um, he says, the Draken gave of themselves their vitality to create the tower.
Hmm.
Says, and some of the magic implicit in its strength comes from our survival. So long as any Draken live, the tower cannot be destroyed.
And he's gonna look at Rosa, and your vision.
I saw all towers fall, not just us.
Says, then we must be wary here.
I don't know. We don't know how Ruin does it, but in the end, as far as we can tell, he is the architect of everything that's happening now. He's arranged the deaths of several rulers. He's unleashed Verschlingen on kingdoms.
Another word I do not know.
Incredibly big snakes with venom so corrosive that for one of us, even a touch of it is death. Instant and horrible death. They grow to enormous size and corrupt everything around them.
But upon death, they bring creation.
As if the life that they've stolen or perverted is hoarded within them and released.
All at once.
It was an illness that brought my kind down. It says, an illness again, which made it, those who were in the world that Matushka had first made were sick and ill, but there were strength enough to bring a few of us here. Far from it. But what I remember was that as the illness spread, there were tales of the world itself turning poisonous.
That is, it sounds like the effect of ruin, but
Let's see. Were
Well, and it's also what you guys have seen of like the Verschlingen when they come into an occupy an area, and like the mushrooms and everything that grow in that area are all poisonous and deadly.
yeah.
yeah. It was by I'm sorry, this is above board because player just does not remember. Rosa heard how the runes were made by Runa's mom, right?
Yeah, Ingvild related it.
Yeah. Len, is there a possibility that whatever they did, the that first group who failed, is there a possibility that this is tied to that?
Possibly. He's gonna look up at the dragon. As we understand it, the runes were, well, we've heard it a couple ways, but the sort of more plausible way is that humanity gained through whatever means access to magical runes, embodiments of certain concepts like ruin and wrath and wisdom, and set out to defeat a dragon who was ravaging and devouring their homeland.
When you came here, you passed through the wormhole, yes?
Yes.
See.
It says the place where a great creature is imprisoned.
The Mirror Sea.
Oh, that's an apt metaphor. I like that. Very poetic.
That's what we've called it, a place of
That creature was
strangeness where the water is heavy.
the creature was the blueprint of which Draken were made.
Oh,
It says, and it is what remains of the vessel that brought the Razdos to this world.
the res what now?
Matushka and her kin.
Oh, okay. So they made this proto dragon and used it as a vessel to cross into another world?
He
My
says,
understanding?
the Razdos, their creation, allowed them to cross between worlds and come to this place, which was at their arrival nothing but a rock. Says, and make it flourish with life and all manner of creation. It says it was here that the Razdos created the first of their experiments, the Draken. It says, at first in an attempt to repair that vessel. It says, but the vessel itself was what was responsible for the creation of the world.
So they created the vessel created the world, they used the vessel to transfer, to move to that world, and
No, they arrived first. I understand that their arrival was not intentional, but rather the result of a malfunction. But after landing, they decided that they would make the place into a home.
so they ended up stranded here. This wasn't their the
Huh.
world wasn't made because they wanted to make the world. The world was made this way because they couldn't go home.
And in the manner of a man or in the manner of a ship crashing upon a distant shore, the ship itself was used to create the basics of existence. Where you would create a shelter, they created breathable atmosphere, plants, uh, cellular biology.
And whatever they
He
didn't
kind of like
use,
reaches and like takes down a few more like stacks of like the stone tablets. He's like, I could give lectures on these subjects, but it would be a lengthy amount of time that you would be here.
and I would actually love those lectures, but for now we have to. Time moves swiftly, and
And there is a
ruin.
threat to the tower, to the
There's a threat to the
linchpin.
tower, which is a threat to all
Yes.
realities. It feels. I feel.
He nods. He says, um, that Draken, that dragon being connected to runes suggests to me a connection between the technologies used to seed this world with life. Says there are primal things, he says, that I grasp conceptually, he says, but I would be hard pressed to repeat them. He says, as I said, we were heavy lifting in many cases, and while no doubt your kind would describe us as very educated and technologically sophisticated, compared to the Razdos, he says we are blithering idiots.
Yeah, I assume that's why Mother never actually speaks to me. She just shows me things.
Uh, Truly, he says, she is sparing in her speech to me, and I understand more than most.
So, and what is in the mirror sea is what was left over that they did not use in their creation. Is that
No, no, the Mirror Sea takes the form of a world in which we can understand, but it is a place between places.
a liminal
It is
space?
it is a wormhole. It is a connective tissue between worlds.
And it is a prison for.
Well, for the Thalassai as a prison, it was not meant as a prison for the Draken, but we were much better behaved. It says every race in some way has betrayed the Razdost, has betrayed Matushka. Says the Draken's failure was in dying.
That doesn't
And
really feel like a betrayal. I'm just gonna
Failure.
put that out there.
says, but we broke their hearts as we did.
Well, if that's the case, then couldn't they have stopped whatever was killing you?
They tried. They tried desperately.
I hate that. So whatever was killing you, which sounds a lot like the effect that
Ruin.
the Verschlingen have, ruin, isn't something that even the gods, such as they are, can control.
I would really not like that term, by the way.
Which one?
Gods.
Gods. The creators? Is that
Fair.
Razdos? Oh, this discussion will get us burned at the stake in parts of our world.
I suggest you burn them right back then.
I like the way you think.
And like smoke kind of curls from his nose as he says it.
I'm not gonna lie, there's a little bit of a evil laugh from Rosa with that one.
Honorine would love this guy.
Yeah.
Sorry. I
Yeah.
wish I knew what questions to ask. Rosa does not have a brain cell.
Len has always admitted he is not the smartest guy.
Says, have you asked the questions of me you would ask to Matushka?
how can can we stop ruin? Can we contain ruin? Ruin seems to be the linchpin around which this whole destroy the linchpin and free the other realities. The pervading theory is that ruin entropy by its own nature cannot die so long as anything exists. And thus destroying everything is the only way that ruin can be free.
In my vision, he was relieved that everything was destroyed. Gleeful almost.
It is my sincere belief that everything that can be made can be unmade. It says whether you can find the means to do so in time is a different question.
Well, then,
What has made him is primordially tied to the very creation of this world.
so do we need a piece of something that is also primordially tied to the creation of this world to break him?
I
Salt.
think the existence of the force of which you describe is a necessary thing for this world to continue. It says,
I'm not looking to stop entropy as a force. I'm looking to stop the physical embodiment of entropy that is trying to destroy everything.
Rose is gonna
he
put
says,
her.
what I mean to say is that I believe that a ruin must exist, but not that this ruin be that ruin.
So find a way to transfer the essence of ruin from the current vessel to a new one. I wouldn't even begin to know how to do that.
Nor would I would need to do research.
Didn't you say that Runa's mother had become Odin?
Yes, but I don't think Odin's a rune. Odin is a chain of shared lives, if the way he explained it is correct.
If I understand
Just
how.
a gestalt.
Gesundheit.
I froze at a really weird time. If so, if I understand the Vestin magic, it works similarly to mine, where it can be passed down from mother to child, but you must choose to learn it, unlike mine.
I would say that you must choose to learn yours as well, do you not? Have you practiced it? Have you developed it?
See, but it starts as a child, and there are evidences of it.
It says,
I do not know if that is true in the Vestin way as well.
what I would
But-
suggest is that it is a predisposition. It says, as a child can be born strong or smart. It says, but that does not necessarily mean that they will take full advantage of the genetic disposition they have.
See. So then, is there a possibility to pass it to another person then?
In their case, I am not certain. Says, certainly, the original runes would have borne children, would they not? It says, and yet none of their gifts have passed on to an heir.
True.
They're in prison.
But they weren't always. They were, for like a long time, they were running around Vestin doing rune things.
So, uh, so possibly we could track down Ruin's bloodline and see if they would be a fitting vessel for Ruin's power. But then we would have to figure out how to draw that power or convince Ruin, the current Ruin, to give it up.
Possibly. Like I said, there's a great deal of research where
There's a great deal of research that we will need to do.
Yeah.
says, but that might be a worthy start to see if there is a living descendant of this ruin.
Yeah, that would be definitely be one thing. And I guess the best thing we could do for you by coming here was to warn you that
He may be
Vision-
coming here as well.
he may be coming here as well. Yes,
And he is
it's been seen in
apparently
visions of fate.
and he is apparently indestructible.
From
Yes.
our understanding, see.
Yes. He, as himself, is as indestructible as entropy itself is.
I wonder if I could grasp him with a pair of tongs and hurl him back through the tower.
I encourage you not to touch him directly, yes, and
Oh,
to
no, no.
always monitor the gates. For now, as he births the Vishlingen, I don't know how quickly he can gestate them, but he can release them, and they are immediately
A problem.
dangerous and a problem.
That is a fascinating connection. And he takes down like a few more tablets and starts to kind of like comb through them. I will research into the things that I can research. He kind of looks towards like the vessel that, Matushka's hog, flying broom, whatever you want to call it. And it's kind of risen up off of the ground. It says, I think it is perhaps time for you to return now.
Yeah, I think so too. Is there a
Meteor's
way for
running.
us to communicate with you, or are we going to have to wait for
Well,
Matrushka
can
to
you get
load
back here
us?
the same way you came in?
I have a feeling this is going to take us that same way, but we would take far longer without it, and I don't want to ask to borrow Mom's conveyance too often.
He says, I would offer to come visit you, but the world as I know it is still poisonous, and it is a very tight squeeze through the gate.
Nope, I would not want to risk you or one of the little ones. And this is
Oh,
also
the little ones could get through, but I mean,
still poisonous to them. So
he says, not so much for them as I understand it. I understand that they are still populous and thriving in Eisen. He says, a gift to our descendants.
wait, I thought there were none left in Eisen.
Nope, the Eisen have totally murdered them all.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, no, they befell a different calamity befell them. There
No.
are no Draken in the world now that we know.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah. A lot of magic in many senses fell with them.
He says, well, and he kind of picks up like one berry and like offers it to you. He says, take something for the road.
Yeah, let's see if we can settle it there. All right. I never gave you my name, and I don't think we got yours. I am Len Costin.
Second.
Siosa's bringing up the enunciation guide.
Once again, when I Google Eisen word for, it doesn't have anything.
And I am insert Godzilla noise here.
He says, I am Weisheit.
Rosa Nix.
Says, a pleasure to meet you both.
A pleasure and enlightening. You have at least given us new hopes to consider in a situation that seems ever more hopeless.
Says, you have given me a great deal of interesting things to study. Perhaps when we meet again, I will be able to offer some more insightful answers.
That would be appreciated.
Grazie, sir.
And he just kind of looks at Rose and he's like, if we get a chance to go back and we don't bring Honorine, she will set my house on fire. I am just putting that out there right now. She
I'm
will
relatively
burn.
sure Gav is going to have words with us when he finds out what we've met.
I don't care if Gav wants to have words with us. Gav left his wife to go to war and didn't tell her. I'm gonna hold that over his head till the day he dies. Also, the not telling her about the twins thing for forever.
So, are you guys reluctantly getting on the conveyance?
Yeah.
It is
Reluctantly
no
crouched.
less terrifying on the return trip.
He's going for distance. He's going for speed.
It is absolutely breakneck pace. Like every single time you avoid a branch, it seems to be like by the narrowest possible margin. And swoops back through the main gate, swoops and like suddenly you're in the air, like over Freeburg, as the conveyance just expertly goes to exactly the same spot in Len's yard and then and drops down.
Yep. Let's gonna pick up the gigantic raspberry.
Yeah, and the moment you guys are both off of it, it like into the sky faster than it was carrying you, which suggests that like the pace that it held was moderated for the both of you.
It was the pace we could survive.
Yeah.
And
So-
well, we need to talk to the council.
I think we need a council meeting.
It's like, and I need to get a cart to bring this raspberry because I have a feeling this is going to prove what we say more than just about anything else.
Agreed. Unfortunately. Oh gods, we met a Draken.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know my magic was not up to bonding with one of them, so I'm glad it's
You've never been able to bond with what's considered like a sentient creature. So
So the cat you could.
yeah.
the fact
But
that
no-
like every Draken that's loose in Eisen is like a cat to these creatures is definitely like those have terrified humans for years.
Yeah.
So
Well, no, I mean, even like the 25-foot cat
Yeah.
lizard thing, Len was like, a bear is stretching it right now. There's no way. That can't be why she sent me here.
No, Rosa was like, maybe I can make friends with it? Like, it'll be okay.
I was like, no, pointy stick, bad.
we know where it likes scritches now.
Yeah, we do.
All right.
But,
we need to close out. We're 8 minutes over. And I hope you all had fun tonight. There's some wildly different experiences, I think, between Hans and Len and Rosa. And I want 2 nominations for RP Award.
I have.
Hans.
Well, I thought Hans got one, didn't
Oh,
he?
Hans got one? Okay.
We get
I
a
got-
drama die.
I got a drama die for that thing, yeah.
I actually wanted to nominate Gerard.
Escherad.
I really liked admitting to teaching Charlotte the swordsmanship, and then also like his description of her like as she was like young, like that entire. It was really vulnerable, and I really liked it.
Yeah, that like questioning everything was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was very sold on it.
So you're telling me Ruin has an heir? That's crazy.
Somewhere.
And then
It's only speculated. There's no like actual proof of that.
That's true.
and
Don't
then
smirk like that.
The last person y'all saw him touch did sort of melt into goo. So
Yeah.
Honorine would like to say something.
Oh, I was gonna nominate Len for the cold open for the other RP award because I liked the cold open.
Yeah, I was gonna say Len.
That's good. I was gonna say either Len or Rosa for the whole thing with the cherry.
Yeah,
For that whole
yeah.
bit, that was so
if
cool.
Rosa's morning sickness wasn't already bad,
Is now.
Yeah.
It is now.
breakfast on Len's lawn.
Let's do Gerard and Len. Hans got the dromedary earlier.
Yay.
And thank you guys very much. I'm just checking does anybody know offhand when our next day off is?
I have no idea.
Not off the top of my head.
April 12th.
April
Okay.
12th, yeah.
Okay. So we will be here next weekend for all of March.
Yay.
So yay. All right. I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming out to see us. Thank you for the raid. I don't know if Kimba is still here, but that was very sweet. And I'm going to read us out now. So thank you for everyone watching us on YouTube or live on Twitch. Audience participation always means the world to us. And if you're on YouTube, smash the like, hit the subscribe, make a comment in the down below. Here at Dirty 20, we always sign out with the same call to action. Be nice. Be kind when you have the spoons, but even when you're not, be nice. Be nice to strangers, be nice to family, be nice to your loved ones, and be nice to yourself. Thank you for coming on this journey with us, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Good
Night,
night.
y'all.